All right, it's Nick Dutch here very quickly on the subject of the BNP and basically, just what would happen if all of the non-indigenous people were taken out of this country, the United Kingdom or the British Isles, let's say. Well, firstly, the Celts, they would have to be kicked out, and that means all the Welsh people, all the Irish people, all the Scottish people, and a certain quantity from Cornwall. They'd all have to be got rid of, and that's the white people, because the Celts were a tribe that come from central eastern France, just outside of Paris. Okay, so that's probably about one-third of our population of white people would have to be kicked out. Okay, then we got all those living in the southeast of England. A lot of them come from Roman descent, so they'd have to fuck off to Italy. And those are the white people. Alright, then of course you got those who are in York and the Midlands. A lot of them would have come from Norway, Scandinavia, possibly Denmark, so they'll have to be repatriated. So they're all white people as well. And basically, if you consider where all the people in the United Kingdom have come from, and that's all of them in all parts of the nation, what you'd end up with is no white people at all. And then if you kicked out the blacks, and then if you kicked out the Asians and the Islamic people and the Jews, there would be no people, just cats, dogs, a few sheep, and a couple of insects. And that would be what would happen if the BNP were honest and really did kick out all those who were of non-natural origin in the United Kingdom. Which would be a bit of a shame, really. I mean, having an entire country or a couple of countries with no people in them at all. Because historically, or at least within the past couple of hundred years, not going too far back into history, of course, Britain's actually held a very important diplomatic and democratic role in the world. I mean, obviously after the fall of the empire, we started to try and be a little nicer. So, Britain is currently the way it is, being multicultural and multi-ethnic, a much better, more important country than it would be if any of these groups were kicked out. Also, if the BNP and or UKIP got into power, or the EDF started to get, a bit too much in the way of political dominance, then our special relationship with the United States of America would be got rid of, so we wouldn't be being protected by them. Our relationship with the European Union would be severely fractured, so we couldn't be protected by them in the case of any particular massive war. And then, of course, there's the old empire countries. At the moment, Britain has so many global allies. It's amazing. At the moment, right now, multiculturalism and all. And the people who want to vote BNP and vote UKIP and are in favour of the EDF and are Islamophobic wankers, they want to take away from us all of our allies internationally. Oh yeah, as well as kicking each and every single human being out of the entire frigging country as well. These are things you've got to take into account too. Now, if any of you out there have the capacity to vote, do so. Voter apathy is one of the biggest problems on the face of the country and allows people who've got too much rage, too much anger, too much resentfulness and bitterness cloud their judgment. So whether it's in your local constituency or whether it's in the nation, make sure you vote for a good party, which can be any of the main three, also the Greens, possibly even the Referendum Party. I don't actually know much about them, so I can't really recommend them, but essentially there are some good parties to vote for out there. Do not allow people who want to kick each and every single human being out of the entire nation, as well as to destroy our diplomatic role within the world to get a foothold in the country. Alright, voter apathy sucks. Make sure you do vote, and let's make sure that this country, despite the fact it's got lots of people who disagree with each other in it, can still at least carry on in a relatively positive way. Having a diverse society with different political groups who disagree and different racial groups who disagree, I mean, that's called reality, and that's called living in a good society. We have an awful lot of positive things within our society. We got a lot of interesting music and styles. You know, even the traditional music that we call traditional English music, that has influences from Spain, Germany, Italy, France, the Middle East. The lute, you know, one of the traditional medieval British instruments, the lute. That's of Middle Eastern origin, for crying out loud, okay? That's Arabic. That's Islamic, okay? Our culture is based upon the rest of the world, and the rest of the world is based upon our culture. It's called interconnectivity, and it's now how we use our interconnectivity which has the potential to make our nations good. Speak to you in a while.